My sister and her family have been pretty busy on their kitchen remodel while we've been away back at our ranch doing our own thing. But now we're back to complete the rest of the work and finish up this renovation.
Well, we're back to pick up where we left off on the kitchen stuff. I got the whole truck bed full of trim. They've been hard working while we've been gone, and they've been starting the drywall texture covering, and they put knobs and door handles and everything on in the kitchen. So we're gonna go check out that stuff, see how that looks. We're gonna try to come into the living room today and restamp the texture on the ceiling in the living room and finish up the trim on the windows and try to get all that stuff wrapped up. And then we'll come in a couple of days and we'll prime and paint, and we're gonna get the flooring put in. So that's all done. Countertop should be in here next week. So we should be able to have this wrapped up and have the countertops come in next week and have it all finished. So we were able to get all the trim up on the window, ceiling texture done, and the wall coating all set. We just have a little bit here that has to dry before we can put the trim in. So we are gonna leave for the night and leave the mess for them to clean up, I guess. But when we come back Friday, we should be ready to prime and paint and rip out the old flooring and lay down new flooring and install baseboards and have them wrapped. We're back and we're ready to wrap this place up. All of the walls are done, ceiling texture's done and sanded. Everything's ready here. We finished up the trim on the window, so all that looks nice. So I'm gonna get started priming. Everest is gonna come back in and cut in the corners, and I think Kim's gonna grab another small roller and cutting in corners. We're gonna get primer on, let that cure for a minute, and then we'll come in, start slapping paint on the walls and paint on the ceiling and trim. And then we're gonna rip this floor out of here and get it out of here and get started doing the new floor once everything's dried and cured. Okay, walls are painted, ceiling's painted, all the paint's done, it's curing. It's already past the dry to touch stage, and it'll be fully cured for touch in about another 20 minutes. So while that's finishing, we're gonna get started laying the flooring down. It's got some really nice flooring, it's life-proof. It's the LVP, the luxury vinyl planks. And I think they went with a Sundance Canyon hickory. So it'll look really nice. They're big planks. We're gonna start on the long wall over here. And we're gonna get our starter width cut in, as well as our door threshold cuts. We'll get started there, and we'll all be ripping through it. We'll see how quickly we can get this done. Okay, we're done for the night. Another long night. It's just about midnight, but we got the flooring down in the laundry room, kitchen, living room. Now it looks like a house. Okay, we are back at my sister's house today. Well, I should say I am back at my sister's house today. Today should be the last day finalizing. I came by a couple days ago and we put the door trim and some of the finishing trims on everything there. The countertops are coming today. We just got confirmation this morning. They should be here in about an hour, hour and a half. Give them any assistance they need to make sure that they're set up correctly and can get it installed. They should be pretty quick. We'll get that installed. Today I'm going to try to wrap up the last of the baseboards, and they're going to be a little bit more complex because they're not just square corners on the drywall. It's got this bullnose corner. That means that it's a 1-inch radius round corner. If you have the baseboard coming down here and the baseboard coming here, it leaves a big triangle shaped gap right here in this radius behind that corner, which doesn't look good and it's hard to hide, and you fill it in or anything like that and it sucks. They make some pieces that I've seen that you can put in there where I've seen where people will square the drywall beneath where the baseboard is and be able to install the baseboards flat and smooth there to a nice corner. The only thing I don't like about that is that it limits exactly the height of your baseboard. So it's something that has to be done at a drywall stage, but is only applicable to the baseboard that you install at that time. If the baseboard ever changes, you have to change that to match. So I just don't like it. The one style or installation method that I've found that over the years that I'm the most satisfied with the outcome is to take the baseboard here and run it, stop it just short of the radius so that we have a 3-step corner. We have this flat, we have this flat, and we have a 45-degree angle flat here. And the thing that requires is that small flat that's across the face has to have the matching bevels to set in there, but then it also has to be coved for the radius on the back side to set down in. But it does give, in my opinion, the cleanest, best look finish for the radius like that. So that's what we're going to do. It's going to take time and effort to get each one of those corners looking nice, but it should finish it up in a really nice way. So now we've got to cut that cove in the back so that trim will sit down in and meet the angles. So what I'm going to use to make that cove on the back side of this is just a drum sander. It's a 3/4 inch. I'd prefer a 1 inch, but 3/4 is what I could get a hold of. So we're going to use 3/4 inch. I'm going to cove the back side of that with the drill, and then it'll set back in there nicely. Okay, so once that's installed nice and tight, it gives a good wrap, a nice clean finish. Everybody has their own way of doing it, and this is just the way that I found over the years that I'm most satisfied with. Other ways I've tried and I'm just not satisfied with the outcome long term. Installing it this way, I can look at in a month, in a week, in a year or 2 years from now and still be satisfied with the outcome and feel like, yep, that looks good, that looks right. It's nice and clean. With this bay window, with the way it cuts in and back, we've got these kind of swooping angles. And I don't need it to be like really rounded. I just need a nice square edge in here for that fit. But I have no idea what the angle is. But I need to split that angle right about here so it comes this way and then has half of the angle cut onto this board and half the angle cut on this board so that they meet together in a nice joint, right?
Yeah.
There's lots of ways you can find that angle. There's angle measurement tools and stuff like that. I don't have any of that stuff with me. The only thing I've got with me is my speed square. So what I'm going to do as a shortcut for this, I've got my board marked where I want to start the angle. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay the board down here as my straight edge. I'm going to come from that same point on the wall, and I'm going to use an arbitrary factor of 12. Doesn't matter what I use.
Yeah.
My board sticks out about 29 inches, so I'm going to go to 24. Okay? Are you following the reasoning there?
Yeah.
Because I need to find a base 12, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to go 24, and then I'm going to measure to the wall at a right angle from that distance. And that is 8 3/8. So halve that, right?
Yeah.
It's 4 3/16. So now I can use my speed square, and on here, these numbers out here is your roof pitch. So I can go to 4 3/16 roof pitch, and these out here are angle, and that tells me I need a 19-degree angle cut. Cool, huh?
Yeah.
So we did that little trick, came up with 19 degrees, so I set the saw for 9.5 because I needed half of that angle on each board. And that is how it trimmed out. Real nice. And then I transferred that same angle for each of these next cuts. 9.5 and 9.5 on each end. Coming all the way around. Left us with a real nice finish. That's the hardest stuff. That's all the living room and hallway, all the weird, crazy, wonky cuts. Now we're gonna put the toe kicks that came with these cabinets. We'll get them installed. They're an interesting one. They're like a vinyl, looks like a corrugated vinyl, extruded vinyl kind of thing. But they're color matched for everything with the cabinets. And they come with little clips that insert, and then they clip on to the feet of the cabinets, those little leveling feet under there. You can see them right there. So they clip onto those and install to the base. So that'll be new. We'll try that out, see how that goes, and I'll get everything else buttoned up. Okay, we are all done. There's a little bit of touch-up paint they'll need to do on some of the baseboards, but all of the finishing fine works are done. Countertops turned out beautiful. It's a cultured quartz, solid surface with a composite deep single basin sink. And those guys did a real good job installing it. They're fast, efficient, they did a good job. They take those measurements pretty carefully and they build it up in their shop and come here and just refine and touch up just the lightest things if they need to. The coffee bar turned out phenomenal. They used to have a built-in closet that was framed out with a door right here for a pantry, and it was just cumbersome and in the way. So this now gives them the split doors, so it opens easier, and then a couple of these shelves are pull-outs, plus the uppers, and then the full 3 drawers underneath, and then the 3 drawers here for their coffee bar. Really nice set of cabinets. They ordered them off of IKEA, and they have a cabinet builder system online. You can put in your dimensions and plug it in and drag and drop the cabinets directly out of their catalog of what's available. So it made it really convenient, and that was one of the big reasons they went for that. The biggest selling point that they went for with these cabinets specifically was because of this corner. Typically a corner cabinet has like either a 45 across here, or they may have an L like that, but the cabinet itself is 36 inches by 36. It comes clear over here and usually incorporates like a Lazy Susan spinny inside. But in order to do that kind of a cabinet here, it would take 36 inches, and they didn't have the space because then they would have been clear out here and lost the hallway space. So what they found with their old cabinets, it just had a door here like this, and everything back in this corner was complete dead wasted space. They couldn't get to it. But these cabinets came with a fancy half circle Lazy Susan. So they're able to make use of the full cabinet with that turning back into the dead space, taking up all the otherwise wasted space. It all turned out really, really phenomenal. Really nice finishes. Everything's connected and back, so now they can finally get back to real life living. There's nothing worse than having the center of your home all dismantled and disarray. So they're in good shape now, ready to go.
As a special way of saying thank you for the help with the kitchen remodel, my sister bought us some tickets to join them for the closing night of the Golden Spike Rodeo.
Recognize those who are not afraid to protect America. About one time for all the veterans joining us tonight in Fremont, Utah.
It was a beautiful night for a rodeo and a great way to celebrate a beautiful kitchen.